Yo guys, what's up? Amper here, and I'm back with, I think, part 4 of the skill framework. So we're gonna be fixing some of the stuff with the beam, and also adding camera shake, damage, all that stuff. So let me just show you guys the finished product. Let me drag it over. So I changed the color on my own because, I thought this was more realistic. You can change the color too if you want. But yeah, I changed some of the effects very barely. And when you hit something, see it does damage. There's like that camera shake. It's like a very subtle camera shake. Shouldn't be like messing the gameplay up or something. So yeah. Mostly this video is just gonna be showcasing how to go from client to server to client and then back to server. So yeah, we also have some camera shake tutorial, like a little mini camera shake tutorial in here for this beam camera shake stuff. But yeah, let's get started. So first things first, we're gonna fix some of the stuff from last time. So if I hop into the old version of the beam, just right away I think you can notice that I don't know why this happens. See, like the charge lasts too long, and there's like that weird. I'm not sure if this even happened in the original video, where the beam would just like go straight through the middle. If that was happening for anybody, I'm gonna fix that very easily. It's something to do with this. You don't need to set the C-frame again, since the C-frame isn't really changing. One thing that should change is the position. That is, yeah, that's it. It's where we tween the outer beam and inner beam in the beam function for the VFX. That's it. And then for the charge particle, it kind of lingered a little. Like if I run it and I just like simply tap it, you'll see that the wind particle still runs like a little bit after. As you can see, like it's still there. We don't want that, so what I'm gonna do is actually just take this, remove that completely, and just add a like count thing. So local wind count equals 0, I guess. And then over here I'm gonna do a check. So if wind count, or actually tick minus wind count is greater than 0.2, then do the wind here at this line, and then set wind count equal to tick here. Simple. That's pretty cool. So basically, when we go up into the air, as you can see, it disappears right as we're about to shoot. Oh wait, I remember. So there's actually a reason for the delayed wind effect there. And also how the charge particle kind of stays there for the last second. That's to allow you to move around your mouse to the last second and then release it, because what I had before was the second you release it, you couldn't move your character around anymore. Kind of made the move useless, but this fix that I did allows it to be a little bit more useful. And if you want the wind effect to like play even during this, you can just take basically this code with the wind count and then do it again here. It's pretty simple, I guess. It's just this times 2. And now we're gonna do the server-side stuff. Server-side stuff is pretty simple this time, but it is a little bit more different than what we've been doing before. So if we look at our server version of our test skill set, you'll see that Slice simply did its hitboxing within that one function. Beam, however, is going to be different. This function right here is simply the releasing of the move. The actual hitboxing is going to go in a separate thing called beam hit. I'm not going to go over any of the anti-cheats for this because that's going to be very long, and also I don't want any hackers to get any ideas on how to fix this. I will give you like a basic rundown of how to fix cheaters, since this is actually quite exploitable. So I'm gonna first do the code and then I'll talk about the anti-cheat mechanic. So it's gonna be pretty simple for the server code itself. And the way we're going to get to it is going to be straight through the effects code, actually, which is weird, right? But yeah, it's going to come through the effects code. So let me go to where I do the actual launching of the beam. So the actual launching of the beam pretty much goes right here. That's where we make the model, right? So if our current character is actually the character that's launching the move, which is params.character, right? Then we create this new beam, right? We create this new beam hit server function. We tell it to do that, and we do this on its own thread so we don't yield any of the code here. The way this is exploitable is that people can just run this on its own, right? Which obviously would cause a lot of issues. So how do you fix that? Well, the easiest way is that once you do go to the server, right? You do go to this beam hit function. You want it to check if that player, remember how we have that cooldown module somewhere over here? Check if that player has actually launched that move and is currently having that move on cooldown. And additionally, you can do some additional checks, like if this player is close enough to the beam, if the beam is actually like realistically on point, and has if you do launch this beam, right here you could also set another cooldown, or set that this person has already launched beam hit. Wait till the next time that they've launched the beam. It's pretty complicated. You don't have to do this if you're not too worried about exploiters. As I always say, you shouldn't be too worried about exploiters, because in the end, someone is going to figure out how to exploit your game. So never put exploits as your top priority. Always make your game first, then worry about exploits. Especially if you're just starting out. No one's going to hack in your game, right? So let's do the beam hit function. It's pretty basic. If you look over at what I sent through to the server, let me make this bigger actually, so you guys can see this a little better. All I'm sending is really the end position, start position. Make sure you get these brackets right, by the way. These brackets are very important. If you don't do the brackets correctly, it won't work. And the action is beam hit, and it's within the test skill set, obviously. So that's what we're sending. Start and name of the function and where it came from. So now we go to test skill set, beam hit, and we grab our data, right? So data is just equal to whatever we sent, which is in those dots. And a couple things we need to set is our player character, and then we're also going to make a hitbox overlap params, which is something that is like a filter essentially. And it's right around here where we want to do the camera shake, so we could leave a little note here, say do cam shake here. I always like to put comments where I'm designing something and I'm not going to do something, I'm going to save something for later. I just put a comment to remind myself to do that. And now let's do the actual hitboxing. So that part is pretty identical to the slice. I'm going to paste it in here. We do 15 hits, and oh, as you see, I did that wrong, so I put 100. For the length of the actual hitbox, what you should do is you should do dist equals data, do parentheses, data dot start position minus data dot end position dot magnitude. So that's the distance, and then you just replace that with distance. Perfect. And the params we're sending is that, and every 30, so this move is gonna hit 30 times basically. We keep a array here, or dictionary of all of our characters that we're hitting, and if we hit them before within that same hit, then we don't hit them, otherwise we do damage, and we make sure that they're not hit again within the same hit or tick of this 30 ticks, multiplied by 5, so 150 damage. And in between each hit is about 0.1 seconds. It's basically a laser at that point. So already the damage should work. I like go in game and I launch it at somebody, it should already do damage. Nice. And it should be able to hit multiple enemies. I don't know how I can show that easily though. I think I'll just like aim in between these two. Yep, as you can see, hits both of them. Nice and simple. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do the camera shake, right? So camera shake. So we're going to go into our skill replicator.effects, and then we're going to add a new module. And we're just going to call it camera. So let's go here, camera. Nice. So within this camera module, we're going to be handling all of our camera shakes. So once again, the camera shake module, I'm pretty sure you guys can find that on your own. Let me show you guys how to get it though. You're gonna go into your toolbox. You're gonna search up camera shaker. Find the one made by Slatenik, because Slatenik is the pro. He has all the really fancy modules, and he's trustworthy, so you guys can get it from Slatenik. And he actually gives us some starter code. You should copy this starter code exactly how I have done it, and make sure it's above this. Now I'm gonna add a new function, and I'm gonna call it beam camera shake. Essentially, if you want to make this a lot more efficient than what I'm doing, I'm just doing this for simplicity's sake. But once you really get the hang of it, you could just make a function called camera shake, and then have the parameters be the parameters of the camera shake, and then shake the camera. But just for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna do it so that this has its own custom function for a camera shake. And this is what I ended up with. So for a basic rundown, this is the magnitude, this is the roughness, this is I think the fade in time, and this is the fade out time. You don't really have to worry about the fade out time since this is gonna be a sustained shake, right? It's gonna sustain for basically 3 seconds since it waits 2 seconds and fades out for 1 second, so that's basically 3 seconds, and 3 seconds is how long our beam lasts. Depending on how long you made your beam last, you should change these two numbers to add up to that. And rotational influence, I did a lot on the z-axis, so it shakes more like it wobbles more like not like this way, not like this way or that way. It's gonna wobble like this way, so it's like shaking like an earthquake almost. So yeah, that's how that works, and we have to go back to our server, and as I see here, we do have our little comment to do the camera shake, and you can just do it like that. And when we run our little game, we should see, oops, okay, right, I actually did not even grab the camera shake module. So let me show you guys how to grab the camera shake module. As you can see, we have our camera shaker. I'm just gonna slap it straight into replicated storage. And oh, wait, that's not replicated storage. Where'd it go? Did I? Oh yeah, it's right here. Grab it and slap it into replicated within the replicated storage. So when we run our game, you'll see once we launch our little move. Wow, look, we have some camera shake now. It's awesome. So some of you guys must be saying, oh man, this like beam move, it's so bad. You literally can't even move it while you're shooting. So you can make it move around while you are, I guess, lasering, but it's a little bit harder to do. I'm not gonna do it in this video because it is a lot more code changes, but the basic rundown for what you would do is that you wouldn't even tween it really. You would just straight up do like a render function or something like that, or a loop of sorts, and then just continuously loop changing the starting position and end position. And then you'd also have to fire this multiple times within that. You'd fire this like throughout that loop, and then on the server you definitely wouldn't be looping 30 times there. You just do it once instead. So yeah, it's a very different way to do it, and I'm not gonna show you how to do it since it's very different. And now, kind of like a short tutorial, I guess, like a bonus tutorial, since this video is kind of short, I'm gonna show you guys how to actually, how to actually debug your scripts. Since I'm seeing a lot of stupid questions really in my Discord, sometimes I'm just like, oh, are these guys even reading? Like, some of the mistakes that you guys make are actually just out of this world. But then I realized it's kind of on my part, since I didn't even tell you guys how to like find those errors and how to even like fix them. So when you're running this game, right, a lot of you guys don't even have this open. This is called your output. You really want to have this open at all times, because you can't know what you messed up on unless this is open. So if I run Mindscript, there's no red, right? There's no red at all because it's all working. And these are some of the things that I'm printing out so that I can see what I'm doing. Now if there's an error, and let me make an error real quick. Let's just do something. A really common error that I see is this. There's missing like a bracket or something. Now I'm gonna run this game right now, and I'm gonna see this right away that I've got an error. So let me just click on this error. Wow, it takes me directly to the script that has that error. Alright, so let me decipher what this says. It says expected a parentheses to close parentheses at column 55. Got, and then we got this weird squiggly bracket. So what does that mean? That means there's an extra this thing, and because there's this extra thing here, it's actually expecting a parentheses. So let me see exactly what that means. So right, as you can see, to the game at least, this parentheses, this like curly bracket is closed right here, and there's this extra curly bracket that's preventing this set of parentheses to be closed, because this set of parentheses wants to belong here. Like, these two want to be closed, but there's this thing that's preventing it from doing so. So there's two courses of action that we can do, right? First of all, we can assume that if we delete this, it'll work. But obviously, right, if we actually run this, you'll see that it doesn't work. And as I said before, I'm just showing you guys some common mistakes, right? Oh, now there's this like orange stuff. Orange usually means that something messed up and or something isn't supposed to work like that. And in our case, if you look here, it's because we did error handling. We're just warning ourselves that something failed. This is just to prevent your like whole game from breaking error handling. So let's see what it says. It said invalid argument, string expected got nil. Wow, that means it is expecting like something like this. This is a string, but it actually got nothing. And as we can recall before, we go to the function here, it unpacks parameters. And now let's go back to the place where we initially made our change. The only thing that is parameters is like all of this. It's all of this. So all of this should belong in that dot dot dot. But right now it isn't. Right now only this is being sent through. So obviously it's expecting this string and it's expecting this string, but we're not getting it, so something's wrong. So then we can assume that when it said that we had an extra bracket, it really meant that we need another bracket for it to work. So let's add that other bracket, right? And now let's see if it works. It works, right? So that's one of like the common mistakes that I see. And then the last common mistake that I see is where you guys just have like a extra end or something. The best way that I can say for you guys to fix that error is if you just grab all of your code, click format selection, and just format selection. It'll like indent and everything for you so that it all looks right. And if you see there's like just like some random like double end, something that looks like this, that means you've done something wrong, right? And so you can check by simply going to these little closers. So if you close these all, it should look like this, right? And oh, as you can see, there's an extra end here. Get rid of that. Now let's say there's an extra end like within here, like this. It's the same thing, but now we just look within all the stuff on this indent level. So this one's on that indent level, so I close that. This one's on that indent level, I close that. This one's also there, close that, and boom. There's just one lone end here, so let's just get rid of that. So yeah, that's like, those are like the two most common syntax errors that I see. There's some logical errors, but for those you just kind of have to read your code and see if it makes sense. And compare with mine. Make sure you guys are like comparing closely. So yeah, let's check out the final product one last time. And yeah, it looks really cool in my opinion. I think this one came out pretty nice. Sorry. Yeah, so that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I've also been considering making devlog videos over tutorials because I feel like at one point I'm gonna run out of tutorials to make, or like tutorials that I find fun to make. So yeah, let me know like in the comments below if you guys like would like to see devlogs instead of tutorials, and yeah, we're pretty close to 4K now. So if we can hit 4K, that'd be crazy. I'll do like a special video as normal. Maybe I can play some of the Roblox games that you guys enjoy playing. I don't know, just like something fun, I guess. Or maybe like a special tutorial. I'm not so sure though. We'll see. Alright, see you guys.